Now that we have our scene elements built, what I want to do is just show you this custom sprite shader that I've built in here, just so you can get an overview of what goes into that. So if we go into our shader shop network here, I'm going to go into the sprite material shader builder, and I'm just going to walk you through what is built. This is really straightforward. And that we have a texture with UV chords coming in and texture map being assigned. And then we're also grabbing in our CD, our color data that we've defined, and our alpha data. We're splitting out the texture into its color components and its alpha component. We're multiplying the incoming CD by the texture value. And the same thing down here. We're taking the texture alpha value and multiplying that by the attribute alpha we have on the different points. Then we're bringing those together, basically pre-multiplying that, the color by the alpha. And then we're sending that down over to the surface output, the CF and the OF nodes. And then I've got this other little chain up here where we're using a PBR emission node and a surface exports node, basically just to prep a BDSF channel to send into the F input of the surface output so we can render this with the PBR renderer. Just basically just gives it that capability as well. And it also then allows us to actually have, emission from that smoke. So in the final element here that makes it all work is this sprite procedural node. And so this is a little sprite procedural that's connected to the second output collect shader input node. And you can see that I've manually assigned CD, alpha, and sprite shop to that, just so it makes sure to bring those over from the particle points and then bring those into the shader. So that's just an important part when we're building a sprite shader to make that work. Okay, so just custom little sprite shader we've got. If I go up a level and hit P again, you can see that we have our field here where I've assigned our texture, and then we've added just the simple OpenGL parameter for a texture and then copied and pasted over that parameter so it's reading out of that. So there's our sprite shader, and we have some Mantra nodes set up already to be able to render this. So let me just pick a frame. Let me scroll through to find something that's going to work for us. It's got some nice trails like that. That looks good. Now we're going to go over to our render view. I'm going to select my render output ROP, and we'll select the render cam. I'm going to turn off preview mode so we get the actual full quality here, and I'm going to hit render. Now our render is complete, and we can see the results of our sprite particle smoke trail in our image. And now we've gone through the whole process from setting up the initial simulation to getting everything working to using sprites in Houdini for rendering in Mantra.